I thought I was just being clumsy, but then I found proof that my boyfriend was booby-trapping our apartment, and now I'm running for my original post, March 9th, 2018. My boyfriend, Paul, and I have been together for 2 years, leaving together for less than 6 months. I would say that we have a fairly average relationship. We make each other really happy most of the time, but we do have our ups and downs. I'm honestly so conflicted in writing this post because I feel a little insane even thinking about the possibility of him trying to hurt me intentionally. We have been fighting a lot lately because of conflicting work schedules. I am currently in my intern year of residency, doing a night float month, so I am at work from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. roughly. He works during the daytime, regular hours, as a CS engineer, and we haven't spent a lot of quality time together in several weeks because of the lack of overlap. I'm going to work just as he's getting home, and vice versa. I have never had any issues with physical abuse from him. He has raised his voice at me on more than one occasion, but he's always apologized, and it's been during very stressful times in our lives. His dad passed away last year, and our dog was killed in an accident on the street shortly thereafter. Recently, though, things have been happening in our apartment that makes me feel a little crazy. I've been getting hurt a lot, and Paul keeps reprimanding me that I need to be more careful and not be so clumsy. But honestly, it feels like it's not me, but that things are being done, moved, placed. About 3 days ago, I came home from work and was preparing something to eat in the kitchen right after he left for work, and I was getting ready to sleep. I opened up one of our kitchen cupboards, and the heavy door flew off one of the hinges and smacked me in the head. I have a huge goose egg and a giant bruise near my hairline, enough that several coworkers have asked me about what happened. I honestly think I had a very mild concussion from it based on my symptoms this week, but here's the thing. As I tried to put the door back together, I couldn't find the hinge or 3 screws anywhere afterward. They should have been on the floor or the counter, and they weren't. This morning, when I got home from work and I was getting ready to go to bed, I opened up Paul's underwear drawer to get a pair of socks to wear to bed. There were the screws, the hinge, and a screwdriver. Last week, I got up in the middle of my sleep schedule to use the bathroom, and I slammed my shin into the edge of our bed. There's always enough room for me to shimmy by, but later on when I looked at the bed and my leg, there were carpet marks like the bed had been shifted about 12 inches toward the wall, making my space smaller. I honestly feel insane even thinking about bringing this up with him, but I don't know what to do. TLDR, I feel like my apartment is booby-trapped. Maybe my boyfriend did it on purpose to hurt me, but I feel insane bringing it up. Top comments. Comment 1. Judging from my 10 years with a narcissistic psycho, you're not crazy. Start writing these incidents down, take pictures, etc., and keep it all logged somewhere he doesn't have access. Your phone, in case it escalates. Ha-VYing proof will mean a huge difference if you end up ha-VYing to go to the cops. Comment 2. Also, taking picture records just for yourself will help you maintain your sanity. Upload them to a secure hidden cloud account your programmer BF doesn't know about. Frankly, he sounds like a psycho from what you've written here. I could never forgive someone for hurting me like that. Sure, he didn't punch you, but is it really that different? He wanted a giant, heavy piece of wood to fall on your face. Comment 3. There's no good reason for those hinges and screws to be in his underwear drawer, nor for MOVYing the bed. Something is decidedly wrong here. It's time to pay attention. 2 incidents are bad enough. You don't want to suffer another while he's not around. Take advantage. Search. Examine those things you use often for signs like find anything which confirms your suspicion. Bail on this relationship. Update March 18, 2018, 9 days later. Hello all. I just want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who messaged me with @VYC and input about my last post found here. Like the title states, I suspected my boyfriend was booby-trapping our apartment for some unknown reason and gaslighting me. And I was right. 2 days after I posted, our shower head came loose and sprung off at me, smacked me in the back of the head, and due to the water pressure, I needed 8 stitches to close the wound. I texted my BF about what had happened and that I needed to go into work for stitches. I'm a resident, and he was way too nonchalant. He asked if I had bumped it or anything to cause it to come off. I'd had enough at that point. I wasn't going to ask him about the things that were happening. I was just going to move out water and all before I ended up dead. I made a plan that on Thursday, I would have a friend come over as soon as Paul left the apartment to help me pack my things. I was worried about any potential cameras he may have hidden, so I flipped the breaker and turned off the power in our apartment. About 3 hours into packing up, Paul came home. In the 6 months that we've lived together, he has never once come home for lunch, so there must have been a camera planted somewhere with an external power source. He doesn't even pretend to walk through the door. He bursts it open and gets furious and asks what we are doing. Not sad, not confused, straight up angry. That was the only sign I needed. All I said was, I know about the cabinet and the bed and the dresser. You're watching me and my jewelry, and it's done. We're done. He responded with the standard, you're just insane, you're crazy, this is insane, etc., etc. This is the point where I am thinking, I'm going to end up on a Dateline NBC episode. I yelled at my friend in the next room that she needed to call the police to come super VYSE while we finished packing. Paul decided to take this moment to call the police and claim that I was in and stealing things from our apartment. 2 uniformed officers rolled up within what seemed like only a minute and came upstairs. I explained that I was MOVYing out. There was abuse. I wasn't interested in pressing charges, but they needed to super VYSE and file a report for documentation. I ended up finishing packing and then spending nearly an hour down at the police station hashing everything out with the officer who arrived. I took personal leave from work for the second half of last week, and tomorrow is my first day back. I'm staying with a friend right now until I move in with another resident near our hospital in about 2 weeks. Overall, I am really relieved to be out of the situation, but I am generally still pretty afraid of Paul and anything he might try to do in the future. Out of an abundance of caution, I took both my iPhone, iPad, and laptop to the Apple Store and had them do hard resets and wipes just in case he had planted anything. I'm not sure how I should be feeling right now, but I'm just going to say that for anyone out there questioning whether your situation is abusive or not, go with your gut and trust your friends. And TLDR, my boyfriend Booby trapped our apartment and gaslit me. I moved out and I am safe now. Now to the next story. Story 2. I thought I was just being clumsy, but then I found proof that my boyfriend was booby trapping our apartment, and now I'm running for my life. Original post. I manage a team of 12 people, and last year had a 13th member added when other managers refused to deal with him any longer. He is diagnosed with depression and generalized anxiety disorder. He is morbidly obese and suffers from musculoskeletal problems related to obesity and diabetes. When they came to me, it was because I have helped other mentally ill staff members, and I was happy to take them on as I felt I could help them. We did make progress and steadily increase their level of work. It has never reached the level considered acceptable, but I made accommodations to relieve pressure, hoping this would lead to a sustained long-term improvement. I sought out equipment to help them be more physically comfortable given their obesity. I felt we were making progress. Unfortunately, they committed a serious breach of security, sent out personal information to someone not legally entitled to have it, and I had to place them on formal disciplinary action. Since then, they have been on sick leave for over 3 months. They are now subject to attendance management procedures and have reached out to a local mental health group, and AdVY said them that I have bullied and harassed them. This bullying and harassment has, according to them, has made it impossible for them to return to work. I have documented EVY Denke that this is not true. When they were told they needed to move away from me for health and safety reasons, they became very distressed and demanded to stay with me for mental health reasons. I have signed documentation where they state I am supportive and they don't want the reasonable accommodations I have offered. Shorter days, fewer days, longer breaks, etc. I have a meeting with them and their support workers from the mental health group, and I have no idea how to handle this. So how do I handle it? I can prove they're lying, and they have a pattern of lying to get themselves out of trouble. I have no concerns about my bosses because they are well aware that this is an utterly unfounded allegation. My worry is that they are completely unsuited to the job, and because they point blank refuse to acknowledge they are in any way responsible for the mistakes they are making, it is impossible to correct them. TLDR, have been accused of bullying when I haven't. Relevant comments. When told to go to HR, OP, I have spoken with our internal HR, but they are terrified that any accusations of bullying a person with mental health problems could be problematic, as it is a hot topic at present. I have referred the person for counseling internally, and they have told me repeatedly, documented that they have taken up this SARE VYC. My concern is this meeting is not an internal meeting. It is with people who specifically represent people with mental health problems, and I don't know how to respectfully say that the person is lying through their teeth without sounding like a... To be clear, their lies aren't malicious, and I don't believe this one is. It is something said to dissolve an immediate. So, in this case, it is because they need to explain the amount of time they have had off sick And admitting it is because of their own actions is too terrifying. So I'm being bullied means it's something that is happening to them and they have no control over it. The reality is they do have control over it, but they are so used to being the VY Tim in all situations that they refuse to acknowledge this is not actually real.